for other people. I just hate doing it for me. So this is going to be Closet of Nonsense Season 2. Your first appearance on Season 2. Mm-hmm. It's episode 11.
Yeah.
It's been like 20 episodes since you've been here.
Yeah. What episode was I on Season 1?
2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think you were 3.
Yeah.
And that was such a shit show.
Fucking, yeah. That was... And
it was fun as fuck because we were all over the place. It was literally
fun.
like 2 toddlers on crack.
Mm-hmm. It was like an hour and a half long, wasn't it?
It was the epitome of why we are the Closet of Nonsense, because we just rambled.
Well, and I don't know if anyone knows that was my foot on the cover.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, people have asked, but I mean, hell, you know, Scarlett never asked until she literally was like, I just wondered, and she listens to it. I mean, I've had people hit me up and be like, is that like your foot? And because they're like, well, you never show your face, so it's like, no, man. How am I going to take my fucking picture?
I still have those shoes. They're some of my work shoes.
I would hope you have those. What, do you just randomly throw away shoes?
I have my dog. My dog actually shredded 3 pairs of shoes of mine in the last week, and she never did that before.
Oh, she's angry with you.
I don't know if that just turned off or not.
It just goes black screen, so you're not distracted by it.
I was like, yeah, I didn't want it to die or something. It's the Phantom.
Yeah, you'll hear it make weird beeps and shit when it...
But, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, okay, so, that was 2019.
Yeah.
It was right at... It was right before we released the track that we did.
Yeah.
It was right before that, and that was like a week or two after Halloween. Mm-hmm. And I was still in the cabins.
Yeah.
So that's when
we did it in the...
We did in the kitchen,
the living area.
Conglomerate area that was also my bedroom.
Type thing.
So yeah, that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been a minute, and then and we told people like, okay, Joben can't be on. He's having a kid. He's being a dad. That's what. And there was that, and then there's work and all this other stuff, and then also COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then COVID hit. And because COVID hit like very shortly after that episode, right? And because it was like
3-4 months.
Yeah.
Because I moved. Because it was March 15th was when we went on lockdown in Junction.
Yeah, because I remember we played a CyberGoth show at Mutual Friends
on the 13th.
The 13th, yeah.
Yeah, that's the day I actually got the lease signed for that house that I moved into.
Yeah.
I moved in the next day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I moved the gear there. This is the first stuff I moved in was all the sound system, and I was like, well, this is fun. And I just played a bunch of really loud music while I loaded everything in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's see. I moved in the new house, and I recorded a couple episodes there, and then I guess I never really said it on the podcast. I was homeless because of COVID. Mm-hmm. I ended up homeless, which... that was a mess. So I was living in hotels.
And like COVID was, especially because the industry we're in, you know, like it literally like everything was straight up non-existent.
I mean, I'm not going to get into super details because it was one of the, if there's court stuff involved and things like that, but like I had to fight an eviction and stuff that wasn't a real eviction and all. Yeah. It's been a mess, and the judge in that case even said, he goes, we don't know what's going on other than to say we don't know what's going on, but something is going on. And it was a mess. And up until just a couple of weeks ago, I've been living in hotels and shit. Yeah. I've been doing that, van living it and traveling and touring and doing stuff as was safe. But that was kind of what prompted me to change things up and do more video, add the different mics, do some different, be able to do remote recording.
Yeah. To make it portable.
I think this is the first time you've actually seen it.
This is the first time I've seen this rig. Yeah.
So, and then I have another one of the floating mics, and I have another one of the close-up mics if I want to use it. But I mean, for 2 people using more than 4 mics is stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
it's probably overkill as it is, but
I mean,
it's an easy way to sync everything.
Yeah, and it's nice to have multiple audio angles and shit like that, and like stuff for background noise, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, like I did one at Trailside Saloon out back.
Oh, nice.
And Cody Stevens. He just popped in. He wasn't actually scheduled. He just was at the show. Yeah. I was like, bro, come up here. He's so fucking quiet.
Yeah.
He's so quiet. It was just, nothing was capturing. Didn't matter what we did. You just couldn't fucking hear him. So, yeah, that's why I like having the extras, because I could actually pull from the different mics. I can double them up and triple them up and keep layering on layering. And and just his few little things he said.
And that way you don't distort one track. You can
a million times, just doubling it up and compressing it and doubling it. I didn't want to fuck with that. I'd rather be as analog as possible, for lack of a better word. So yeah, things have changed and things have been done, but you're the first actual, like, nobody else from the original idea crew has been on this season.
Yeah. Because, how long ago did we originally have this idea? It was so
2017.
Long. Yeah.
You first brought it up in 2017, and then Ian and Kenny wanted to do it in 2018, and they were going to do it.
Has Ian ever been on?
No. Dude, he is... Honestly, we did schedule one, and I don't know exactly what happened, and it didn't happen. But Ian was a huge part of the test for, like, when I'm doing the Zoom stuff.
Yeah.
He was a huge part of that. He's helped me a ton in making that work and making that whole system back and forth and what to do and helping with the software and shit. He's been a huge part of that. Kenny still, every once in a while, is like, hey, shoot me something and I'll master it. But I haven't talked to Kenny.
Dude, I need to.
In months on months.
I haven't messaged Kenny in a while. I need to talk to him too.
And Skyler, with him working his job and DJing again and everything, getting him locked down, he's wanted to do a couple.
Yeah.
But that's part of it too, is that scheduling is just as hard, if not harder, as it was before COVID.
Yeah.
And...
Well, because now it's like,
you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. I'm going to go get a paper towel.
Okay. You do that. And people can stare at the empty chair and the random shit I have on the shelves back there because I still haven't moved in.
But
no, like getting people on, like I've had some really great guests and I've had some real fun. There's actually an episode that we're backburnering. It's supposed to be this episode that we recorded, and I was gonna release it right before Thanksgiving, and then the last episode we did, I don't know how much you've even listened to any of the new
listened to
stuff.
quite a bit of it.
Because the newest episode was right after this Astro World, and I had some people ask me directly to put my opinion out there. I actually kind of wish that you or Skylar had been around. To do that.
I have a lot of mixed feelings about the Astro World. Obviously, like I don't know, the whole thing was handled terribly, you know. But like I think people are like, obviously Travis Scott has some blame, that has a large part of the blame there for how that all went down. But I think who should really be looked at is like, because it was at Ticketmaster and like that did that, like the whole organization of the event and all of that. They shouldn't have allowed.
He hired some subcontractors he's not a promoter.
No.
And he hired promoters to run it, who then bottom dollared it, and they're like, oh well, we'll go as minimal on security and as minimal on experience.
It just shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have allowed it to go. Like they should have just cut him off. Like he's not like. Travis Scott is sitting up there with like.
He's not God.
Yeah, he's not. And
the fact that nobody told him what had happened.
And the performers aren't the boss of a concert. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
The biggest issue when people are like, why aren't you coming to my town? Probably because your town sucks, and whoever was running the booking in that town, when it was booked 3 to 6 months ago, didn't respond.
Literally, and
by the time the tour is announced. It's been being worked on for 3 to 6 months minimum. Sometimes a year in advance.
3 months to organize a tour is like
a miracle.
Even now, absolute miracle. If you have every cent of funding you could ever ask for, you know, if you're trying to at least if you're not a massive artist, you need a lot of preparation time. You need a lot of there's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, and people don't get that. Like the layperson doesn't understand the amount of shit that goes into prepping for a tour and what goes into it.
Like I said, like the artist. They're not the boss.
No.
Like you're not, when you go and play at a place, you are being hired by someone.
Yeah, that's why you're called the performer.
Yeah, so like it's not like it's Travis Scott's Astro World, but he's not the boss there.
Yeah.
He's not the one that says keep going or not. You know, like obviously he can walk off stage, but he's not the one. Like if they're like, oh, Travis won't stop, cut the sound.
No, and the thing is,
cut
the fact that he went to the side of the stage and asked what was going on, and they said, oh, there's just an emergency, they're dealing with it. And then nobody told him what had really happened.
Exactly, because that's what I'm saying.
He didn't know.
Because he didn't know that it was because I don't know if anyone watching's ever been on a big stage like that, but you can't see past 100 people. Other than that, it's just a sea of heads, and you don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
Even if you've stood in the stands or at a giant show in the crowd anywhere high up, you can look and see that it's you can't pick out that one person 1,000 feet away from me is passed out on the ground. That's not. he can see what's going on immediately in front of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
and that's if you don't have sweat in your eyes, if there's not lights in your face, if
you
there's
have
a lot
good
of ifs.
vision. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs involved there, and people that haven't been on stage don't know that.
Like it was definitely, it wasn't handled well by him.
I mean, you can tell by the videos. I as a promoter can look at it and go, "There's not nearly enough security for that many people."
No, there was 50,000 people there. Wasn't there?
There's nowhere near enough security for that many people.
I've seen more security. There was more security when we had our press passes to Supernatural. There was like it seemed like there was an army of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. In all honesty,
there should be. Yeah, because I remember when we were backstage and they were doing the whole. We were standing there talking to the global dance guy, and we were talking to him, and they were doing the like briefing type shit.
For that one team. That was one team.
And there was
30
like
people.
there was like
30 people as one team, and then they had their own teams.
Yeah, and then there was like just groups of these people all around that backstage part of that stadium.
Yeah.
So
and that's one show. And was there 17 artists that night?
Yeah,
there was one show, 17 artists, like 3 stages.
Yeah, well, there was 4, including that local stage.
Oh, that's true. There's a local stage. That's true.
Remember that guy, that disabled dude that was absolutely murdering it? Yes. Like that dude was going so hard, and he had such a big. Dude, it was amazing. I loved everything about that.
That was a fun night.
I
still loved my picture of everybody when I looked out, and you're just grinning, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is he doing up there?" Because nobody knew but you that I was going to do that. That was fantastic.
Was that the time in Denver where you bombed the hill on your scooter?
Bombed the hill on the scooter.
I'm just like, we're walking in Denver, and I see you. Like we're like walking, and then like there's a little rail, and I didn't know that it like ramped down into this little thing, and I just like look over, and your head's just like getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and you're just speeding up, and you just tuck in and just bomb this fucking. God, that was gnarly. You stuck it though, and you rode up the other side. That was great.
Yeah, that was fun. That's the same. That's the same trip where we looked at that fucking staircase in the Coliseum. We were like, "Fuck, we're never gonna make it in the elevator." And I just started taking the roller and hopped up all those steps.
Yeah.
And Chris from Terry was like, "You're fucking stupid." He just watched from the top of the stairs, like, "Are you really doing this?"
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Shout out to Terravita, because I love those dudes. Were super. They were so nice when I met them.
I had a very long, very nice conversation with Chris. I hit him up shortly after COVID hit and was kind of talking about virtual shows and things like that, and we were talking things back and forth and kind of discussing the touring and the future and stuff. That man has more going on in his mind than anybody has ever given him credit for.
Dude,
he's just his business savvy, his tech savvy, his musicianship, his just overall integrity and morality.
Yeah.
The world, especially the EDM world, needs more people like him.
Yeah, well, and like it was like I'd obviously like he'd never heard of me at all, and they probably, even if they saw this, they probably wouldn't know who I am now because it's been so long since I saw them. But like, I just was like a kid at that time. I was like 19 years old, maybe. How old was I?
You were 19.
Yeah, I was 19.
And you had only dropped 1 EP.
Yeah, and
one single.
And they like let me into their green room with you and just
sat and talked.
Sat and talked and
talk
drank
shop.
a beer and like actually like I don't know, like it was cool. They're really, really cool dudes.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I've been lucky with them. Every once in a while I chop it up with RJ on Twitter. With Bear Girls and
RJ. I met him with you too.
Yeah, at Bluebird.
Yeah.
That's actually the first time you met Chris too, but they were leaving as we were. I mean, they're the ones who let us in.
Yeah, and then we met Pogman that night too. Yeah. Pogman's, I don't even know. I've never forgive me if I'm mispronouncing his name. I don't know if it's Pogman or Pogman. I've never really.
I think it's Pogman.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not.
I assume it's Pog because of Pogs.
But exactly. But so he's a super cool dude too. Yeah. They were all really nice. Show that was Ogden.
That was Ogden.
Yeah, that was Ogden. That was the Ogden
show. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the Ogden show. The Bluebird was
it's the one where I moshed everybody into the corner.
Yeah.
That was fun.
God, yeah,
when RJ threw on the fucking System of a Down.
Mm-hmm.
That was the second time we saw him. He
looked
right at me and went,
"What was that stage setup called? I forgot."
Oh fuck!
It was the projector stage setup.
Sick as fuck. That's all I can remember.
And it was fucking cool as. But it was like the first generation of it because he like really refined it.
He rebuilt it and redone some stuff. His new helmet. Dude, have you seen the fucking?
It's so sick. Yeah, I love his new helmet.
I've been
following RJ.
His label's dope.
I've been following him since like years before the Travelodge show, like since the bear suit, you know, like
Well, and see, I knew him as a tour manager before I realized he was.
Yeah, well, you knew him before he was even Bear Grylls.
Yeah, I mean, we've worked together for
he's a cool
the better part of a decade now.
He's a really cool dude. And
yeah,
he's always been super nice when I've met him, and because I remember one time I met him at your house when you lived on Patterson. Yeah. Yeah, and he's always been really nice.
Yes,
and
that's just is that I feel lucky to know some of these people. I've connected with a few more of the people that I knew through being a promoter, and we've talked a little bit. But as far as people that I actually like, I mean, I've done Halloween shows with Terra Vita. I've done things where it's like we go hang out and do makeup and be idiots together, like doing that with RJ and Midas and Il Gates. There's a few of these guys that I've really never met
Midas, but I've heard Midas is a really cool guy.
Joe is amazing.
Yeah.
One of the most zen people I've ever met.
Yeah.
I know that there's going to be people who disagree with me on that, and they have personal relationships with him. But as far as my interactions with him, the times I've talked to him, the things we've done musically and non-musically, he's just very balanced and very quiet and humble in the way that he's always just shocked when he has a great show. He's like, oh my God, thank you for coming out. You all made that amazing. And they're like, you were the guy who played. And he's like, but it wouldn't have come out that way. It wouldn't have come out of me if it wasn't for you. And I love that. I love that attitude.
Well, I feel that 100% because like I play better when I feel like people are into it. You know, that's just like, you know.
That's the fun part about me is those shows that you and me and Skylar did.
But even
that was you and me and Skylar playing to each other, and there was people enjoying it and everything.
But it like I don't know, stuff like that too. Like there's definitely something to be said about just like, you know, like you have to do it for yourself before you do it for other people.
Well, I have such stage fright. But I mean, playing with the mask and the fact that we all showed up in dark hoodies on accident, we're like, fuck it, that's our shit.
Yeah.
Like we all wear black, we all wear hoodies, we all do this, and we all did our different styles. Yeah. Like that's what made that fun.
It'd be really cool to do another like reunion, something like that.
I'd like to do something like that, just because my problem is if we do it at like any of the places here that are the way they are now, we're just gonna get the fuck out of them. They're not gonna know what to do.
Well, yeah, I was like putting together my set for last night for that show, and I was like, I like was downloading like I was gonna play like the breakdown from You Only Live Once by Suicide Silence, and I was like, I don't think that's a good move.
It's hard because it's such a baby scene again. It's so brand new.
That's the thing. Is it like completely because of COVID? Closed the main bars and stuff that everyone went to here, and the music scene like literally stopped for 2 years.
Like I talked to Mooch today, and Mooch and I go back, God, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, almost as long as I've known Epic, back to knowing Entity and all those guys. Like, and we were talking about it, he goes, what is fucking up? Like these kids will talk to me like I don't know. They're gonna school me about hip hop. They're gonna school me about EDM, and I'm like, I've been a turntablist since you were in diapers. Go fuck yourself. But a lot of people don't realize that there are several of us that we've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
They haven't seen this in the last couple of years. And it only takes, 18 months to completely forget somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why one-hit wonders exist.
Well, yeah, and like I hadn't played it I played my first show last night in like almost 2 years.
Yeah. Skylar, when he was doing, and it was just, for him, it was just a club night. It was like, it's just a bar night, I can fuck off. He was texting me, because for one, him being sober now, being 100% sober and really sticking to it, he's like, I don't know if I can do the sober. I haven't done the sober in I don't know how long. I haven't played a set sober, but since like that night that you helped me out, and I was sober then, and that was more me doing sound, and I remember I fucked up, and he was freaking out, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. And he's like, I'm not fine. He was texting me throughout the night, going, dude, I really fucking hope I don't fuck this up. All night. Well, and then it was the end of the night. He's like, oh, fuck, there we go. I got through it.
It's just weird to get back into it, you know? It's just like, it just feels, well, yeah, everything just started over completely, you know? And like, there's still people who like come out and like, who know like of like what we used to do and shit. But like, a lot of people, just there's like a completely new scene here now. And me and Colin Sober were talking about that last night too. And how it's just like, it's literally like, a completely
we're having to
it's a baby scene is what he
said.
He put it.
The thing that kills me, like, in hanging out, like, Jasmine and Haley have been the ones that think it's funny because people will be talking about music and talking about DJing or talking about these artists and because I've been friends with them for so long, in this group of friends that they're in and that I'm on the fringes of that they don't know who I am. They don't know anything about me.
Yeah.
Like, so when they're like, and so somebody will say something to me like, oh, there's this great band, and they'll talk to me about a band that I know, like people that I know. Like I got introduced to Stitched Apart a few weeks back, and I just let it happen. The same as when I'm on the road and people are like, they don't know who I am, so they're talking to one of you guys thinking you're me.
Well, yeah, and you fucking it's that the Stitched
I did the same thing. I mean, the number of people who've come up and talked to me about me. Well, people are starting to talk to me about people that I consider friends that I've known for forever.
Well, Stitched Apart, it's like fucking. You could probably go find. Like a box of their merch somewhere in your house. You know?
Like, I've known Mixie longer than anybody in her band right now.
Yeah.
I've known her longer than they did.
Yeah.
Like, it trips me out. This is a different incarnation, but they don't know that about me. They don't know. They're like, yeah, I went to this show, and they talk about shows we threw. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, there was good, and there's blah, and having people talk about bands I've been in.
Yeah.
People that I just did a little bit of music with a friend of mine. And people are like, why are you working there, blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, well, he sounds like this guy. It's fucking me.
It is like, this guy.
It is. I am that guy. It's not, it's like, I don't sound like that guy. I am that dude. Yeah. And it's that same frustration as when women look at you and, I wish I could meet a guy just like you. I'm right fucking here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Right here.
Here
like,
I am.
I know I'm ugly, but fuck.
It's like fucking, you're probably one of the only fucking people I know that could show a picture of Korn when they're teenagers and be in the picture.
Probably.
You've showed me that.
No,
picture.
I have.
You showed me that picture of you and literally it's you and fucking all the dudes.
Me and Head and David. Yeah. Me and Head and David and Monkey's Facing. Yeah. Well, it's like going back that far, knowing those bands, knowing those people, and being in that scene. For me, it was just my life. Like my son laughs because his playlists are fucking chaos.
Oh, I could see.
Because he literally only likes artists that he's met.
You know that I had never met your son.
I know.
Until the other night.
I know.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah, that was wild. And I looked at him, I was like, yep,
Cody was about to cry. Because Cody's almost met him 5 or 6 times. Where Cody showed up after he's left or had to leave before he showed up. Mm-hmm. And to Cody, they're brothers.
Cody Bauer?
No,
Cody
King.
Yeah.
To Cody, they're family. They're brothers. He's because Cody looks at me as like the retarded uncle, dad figure who also can outdrink him. Mm-hmm. It's a very strange relationship. But Cody, Thanksgiving was an interesting thing, and it was fun for me to get to see that.
Yeah.
For him, because Kendrick's been such a part of my life. That's actually the first time I said his name ever on anything ever. I never say his name when I just said it. It was really, really fun for me to watch him interact with people that he knows, all of you, who everybody is, because he talks to me. We talk several times a week at length. We have a great relationship, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But it's the first time he's got to meet some of these people.
Yeah.
But he's also developed some kind of his own friendships and relationships, like with Haley and Skylar and Jasmine. Him and Jasmine, God, they just verbally box.
How old is he now?
He turns 21 in a month.
What?
A month and 2 days.
What the fuck?
Right?
How long have we known each other?
I was thinking about that the other day. Dude, I think we met in 2016. I think the first time you came to the house that night
The first time I came to the house was the fucking Ghost Gang album release party. Or was it Kendrick's album release party?
It was Kendrick's album release party.
That was the first time I ever met you.
That was 2017 and that's when you met me, and that's the night you showed up, and I didn't know who you were, and nobody introduced you, and then you followed me in the garage, and I fucking elbow checked that.
Yeah, it was the fucking boxing, the punching bag.
Yeah, I elbow checked the fucking.
Slid him fucking across the room.
Yeah, and you went nope. Well, and I mean, have I ever told you how I met Cody?
King?
Yeah. Skylar invited him to one of our art nights. He showed up early as shit and just started helping me cook. This kid just shows up and starts helping me cook and clean and stuff. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck he was till the end of the night. I was like, oh, because Skylar didn't show up till the end because he worked that night on some shit. And he showed up, he's like, hey man. They're like, I'm like, oh, you know each other? He goes, that's my brother. I'm like, oh, hi. And he's like, I didn't introduce myself. I'm sorry. I'm like, I just knew who you were. You're just really helpful.
Yeah. That was the first time I met you. The first time I met, I think, any of the Ghost Gang dudes. I think I had met Fly previously.
He's he's pretty social, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I love Fly. Fly's my boy.
I'm impressed with everything he's been doing.
I've always had mad respect for Fly. And all the Ghost Gang dudes. I've always had mad respect for all those dudes. You know, they were always welcoming to me for sure.
It sucks the way things ended between Ghost Gang and me, but I still have the most respect, and I love their shit. And I still, every once in a while, I still want Colt's album because that is fucking fire. That whole album was fire.
And I haven't fucking Colt.
I need to hit up Kendrick. I haven't talked to him in a long time. I need to hit him up.
I saw him out the other weekend. I see Fly out.
I follow Fly on Snapchat, so I feel like I'm part of his Snapchat, fishing life and his selling cars, and I love it. He's obscenely good looking, and it pisses me off. He always looks like, no matter what time of day and night, what he's doing, he just looks put to fucking together.
Skylar says that he looks like Jafar, all right, and he does kind of look like Jafar. But Skylar also says that I look like Jafar. How do me and Fly look like the same person? Explain that to me. How do me and Fly look like the same person?
You look like a disheveled, cocaine addicted, didn't get any sleep last night, might actually fuck your sister version of Jafar in like the live action version.
Why do I look like that version? What? I'm a homeless man?
Possibly.
I'm not a homeless
man. He
man.
looks like the Jafar that like you would draw if you were to take him straight out, but without the charisma of it. He's got the look, but none of the.
I feel like he looks like if like there was a live action movie and Jafar was like thrown into New York City, that's Fly Sky.
Yeah.
Like if there was like a
Jafar wore
if it's like it's like one of those weird like animation crossovers where it's like Jafar in Philadelphia or some shit.
No,
like,
that's legit. Yeah. And he just, I don't know. There's some people like there's like some couples that I see. I'm just like, I fucking hate you for existing because you're perfect. But I know that's just pure envy. But at the same time, it's like it makes it hard for all the rest of us sub-level people.
There's only certain people who can wear like dress shoes out. And like look good.
Not look pretentious.
And Fly is one of those people.
Yeah. That's what I mean, like, he's out fishing. He's in the middle of the fucking river, and he looks like somebody dressed him and did his makeup. He's like, just takes that fucking little selfie, like, look what this fucking fish I caught. And like, you have guts on you.
Looks like a goddamn fucking GQ fucking.
It legitimately looks like it was a prepped commercial.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. I love that shit, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a minute. They're doing a reunion at Scores.
Yep. No, I know. Sky and I were talking about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
So that should be cool for him, and fucking Sky is DJing for him, and so that'll be cool for
that'll be fun. He did something with Fly a few weeks back, and that was actually really cool. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that for him because tell you what, the thing that drives me nuts about Aka, that man really does have his finger on the pulse of what's coming in hip hop. Mm-hmm. He really does, and no one listens to it. And then, like, a year later, everybody's bumping what he was throwing a year before. Yeah. And they were making fun of him for playing a year ago. And he's like, the fact that I know we make fun of him for the times where we've heard him just crying, just pissed off and, like, losing his mind. But he really does have a really good sense of what's going on. And the fact that people don't respect him for it.
He does.
Kind of drives me nuts.
He definitely does, for sure.
Because he's shown me artists, and then like 8 months later, he goes, "You wait 6 months a year. Watch, they're gonna be huge." And there's no fucking way. Sure as fuck. And some of it's not. He's like, "This sucks. This is a shitty song, but watch how popular it's gonna be in like 8 months."
Literally. God, I'm fucking yawning.
We're all dying. It's just a matter of velocity. Yeah. You want me to punch you in the dick?
No.
You'll wake up.
I mean, but not. I don't know if I'll wake up.
It'll be later when you wake up.
In a way that I want to wake up.
You will be in pain, and it may take you a few moments to wake up. Yeah. We could do that. I'm here for you.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, the music scene's been weird, but it's really weird seeing like how everything's just like restarting. It's not like a pause, it was like an end and a start, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, and it can't be just here. It can't be just here. It's got to be all over the world.
Well, if it's happening here, it has to be
happening. Because we're so far behind everyone.
Yeah, it has to be happening on a way larger scale
in other areas.
Fucking think about like places where like hip hop is fucking like the Bay Area. Think about like fucking even Denver with bass music and EDM and fucking like everything.
Well, and then when they tried to come back too soon and it just got
and then it pushed it back more.
Yeah, and and that's been another thing.
I have homies out in you remember the dude I did the remix for?
Oh yeah.
Blood Clots in Portland, and like I forgot if he's in.
I got so many friends in Portland.
I think he's in Seattle.
Yeah, I have so many friends in Portland. It's a shit show.
Super fucking cool dude, extremely knowledgeable dude about music. He is if anyone wants a really cool artist to look up Blood Clots with a Z at the end. It's really cool, dude. Yeah, it's
good shit.
Yeah, I remember I follow his Facebook pretty closely, and he was talking about how it's like, it's the same thing. Like people just started throwing unsafe shows, and then it pushed it way further back, and just
There's so many misunderstandings about what it takes to be safe, and there's so much debate. I mean, you and I usually try not to get political, truly political, like musically political, but that's one of the things that. The state of the world really is affecting the state of art.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because a lot of art is like a reflection of the world around you, and like so, it has to.
Which means the world right now is very fucking sad and depressed.
Yeah, and so and there's no denying that in like recent years there's been, even the last like decade. I don't know if it's just like the types of music that I pay attention to, but like there's been a boom in sad, depressed music. You know what I mean?
No, well, I mean, okay, grunge was angry, sad.
Yeah.
Acid rock was drunken, sad.
Yeah.
The whole goth movement. There's always been sad music. There's
always been sad music,
quote unquote emo tied to it.
Yeah.
But recently.
But if you listen to it, didn't used to really like bleed into hip hop and stuff the way that it does now.
What is that because it's done that, some of this stuff seems really upbeat and really positive, and then you listen to the lyrics like, that guy's gonna kill himself. Like Jesus. And it's weird.
It is weird.
And the other music has forgotten its roots.
A lot of it has, yeah.
I hate being that. God, I feel pretentious saying that. But I feel like music has lost it. Like, hip hop now doesn't understand what hip hop was back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Like, you talk to an artist now, they're schooling you on what hip hop is and what turntablism is, and it's like, you watch these beatbox battles, especially in like Great Britain and shit, and it's like, that's real hip hop.
Well, and it's like also. I don't know, like people don't. A lot of people, because you know me, I've never been the hugest listener of old school hip hop and stuff.
Right.
But it's something you have to like. If you have to see what built what you're listening to now. You know what I mean? And like there's like a lot of kids nowadays who like talk a whole lot of shit on like boom bap and like the old types of rap and stuff, and like, oh, that's garbage. But it's like the artists you're listening to grew up listening to that, you know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't know, a lot of people, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of it is uneducated opinions and stuff, you know? It's just people saying
the fact that people say things like music from the late 1900s that makes me want to die.
Oh god, the term the late 1900s.
I want to die every time I hear it.
Makes me want to die. That's so.
But it's like they don't realize like how much the grunge movement, the surf punk movement, ska, how much it really changed the face, and the fact that there have been so many conglomerate and collaborative efforts in so many different forms of music. Everybody's like, oh, listen to the way that this group's doing rock and rap, and it's like, oh, it's so new, it's so great.
Yeah,
like,
but it's
fuck
do
you!
like,
Do you not know who Rage Against the Machine is?
I was literally thinking that just now. It's like, dude, Rage Against the Machine, fucking like, there's infinite, like, I don't know.
Everybody knows who System of a Down is, but they don't understand that band changed the scene.
Yeah, literally, they
changed everything. Pantera changed everything.
Yeah, dude.
Sepultura, Pennywise, NoFX, Bad Religion, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. These are Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots.
My fucking dad saw Pearl Jam in a tiny little bar, like a year before they got fucking famous. It was like.
Dude,
no one
and the way that some of these artists got, I mean, Pearl Jam got caught in weather, and if that hadn't happened, Nirvana never would have been famous.
Yeah.
Which, okay, let's look at that. Would we have all this great music that Nirvana put out there? Probably not. But would Kurt Cobain still be alive? Probably. He probably would.
Yeah.
And that great music would still be out there for those exclusive people to have learned from. I struggle with that often enough that people don't recognize where it comes from. People that talk about the greatest rapper that ever lived, and in my mind, the second you say that, Tupac. Mm-hmm. And the fact that so many artists today reference Tupac, Biggie.
And like me personally, and a lot of people may disagree on this opinion, I personally think the greatest rapper to ever live was MF Doom.
It would be hard for me to argue
MF
against
Doom
that.
is, in my opinion, he is... There's just no one like MF fucking Doom.
Epitome of hip hop soul, I will give you that 100%.
And like, dude, the fucking Danger Doom, like,
all of
literally, that was the fucking Mouse and the Mask. That is what got me. Before I found that album, I like was one of those kids that's like, I only like metal, I hate rap.
Yeah.
And then I found MF Doom and was like, I don't hate rap. I just haven't found
rap you like.
Yeah, and like...
Well, it's like, I mean, there's some country I like. There's some... I
dude,
mean, I listen to a lot.
fucking...
People assume they know what I listen to.
The song fucking... I will... The song Cover Me Up by Morgan Wallen is beautiful. You know how that I'm...
Yeah.
I hate country. I've never been into country. But fucking... Something. Cody showed me that song on our way to Yellowstone, and I was like, what the this dude can fucking sing. Like,
right.
And so, like, I don't know, there's... no benefit in being closed-minded.
No, there isn't.
You know?
And I think that's one of the biggest frustrations that I have is that so many people, like, you brought it up, one of the fact that I like Post Malone so much.
Yeah.
But to me, Post Malone sounds like a rock star who has found melodic hip hop.
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he did that fucking live stream of Nirvana covers, and he played guitar, dude, there it is. That's why.
I saw Post at the Hive, and that was a crazy good set, dude. Like, Post was crazy live. He was really, really good live.
He's just really talented.
Yeah,
and people want to talk shit about him or Travis Barker. Like, these people... I've been following Travis Barker as a musician since he was in the fucking Aquabats, before Blink-182. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the shit that, to me, that's the shit that... The fact that you can look at somebody and know they're going to make it as a fucking punk drummer?
Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. Danny Carey being in Green Jelly and then getting into Tool. Like, there's some people you just look at and you're like, fuck yeah, that's badass.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Shinoda is one of those that you look at Mike Shinoda, yeah, Linkin Park, but Mike Shinoda, badass. Yeah. There's a lot of artists like that, and because they appreciate where they came from and their influences. And one of the other things, we talked about this a little bit earlier, like the fact that Hollywood has no originality. Music, like, I am so sick of people covering covers of songs.
I feel that.
Like, if you're going to cover a song, take the original and do something new with it.
Yeah.
Do not take the remake of it and try and build on that.
Yeah.
That's not only disrespectful to the person who covered it originally, it's extremely disrespectful and lazy in comparison to the original artist. Yeah. Like, fucking do your job, do your research.
Like,
make it yours.
Exactly.
You know, gender bend it, do whatever. Like, it really does get to me.
I feel that.
And the fact that that's happening so much in, not just in covers, but in generalized music.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I always make fun of Nickelback because Nickelback has basically the same album recorded a bunch of different ways with different lyrics, but it's the same fucking album, it's the same fucking songs, the same chord progressions, but they did create a sound.
They did, and like, I don't know, I guarantee you look up how many fucking records Nickelback has sold, like...
Bazillion.
It's like,
bazillion.
Dude, like...
And that's just it, is I don't have anything against pop music. As long as there's something behind it, there's some soul, there's some investment, there's some anima to it. Mm-hmm. It gets to me when so many artists are out there. And right now, like, anybody can get on Spotify, anybody can get on Pandora, anybody can get on fucking Amazon and because anybody can do it, it's devaluing the market and saturating it with so much not good music that people are missing. So people ask why TikTok is so popular. Because there's genuinely good artists and people are actually gravitating towards the good artists.
Well, yeah, and like...
I fucking hate the clock app, but you know what? That makes sense to me.
Yeah, but and like, well, the thing, and like, it's weird because like TikTok has a reach that like no other fucking social media has right now for some reason. Like the reach TikTok has is ridiculous.
Their algorithm, it makes no sense to me, which is it's hard for me to say out loud. That something doesn't make sense to me. Something mathematical and scientific in basis makes no sense. Yeah. But it makes no sense. I don't understand it for myself, but I know that I watch people that I really respect doing really well because of that app, and that matters to me. Mm-hmm. That matters. Yeah. And the fact that when you go on, it kind of knows, like, yes, I get there's predictive things in Facebook and advertising and all that shit, but TikTok genuinely, like, I can't say that I will open TikTok and within 3 swipes I don't see something that I pause on because I am genuinely interested.
Literally, because
genuinely
like,
interested.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I have the fucking TikTok app anymore, but Facebook and Instagram both essentially have the same thing now. It's just they're called Reels.
Yeah, they're just
literally just endless.
Well, and they're all copying each other and trying to
most of them.
When Snapchat was so big, and then Twitter started saying, "Well, we can do that," and Facebook was, "Well, we can do that too. We'll add stories." Mm-hmm. You know. Cool, I get it, but I don't. Like, there's no individuality there. There's no individual, and it's all just about money, ratings, and users, and hits, and shit like that. Mm-hmm. TikTok's the same way, but TikTok came at it kind of honestly, like, hey, we're about how many hits we can get. Use our hashtags, use this, and you'll get more famous faster. And it works.
Yeah.
It fucking works.
It does. Well, hashtags, that's one thing, like, if a lot of people, like, underestimate, is, like, you have to hashtag as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, it's such a useful tool.
Yeah, when hashtags got added to Facebook, it opened a whole new world for me. Mm-hmm. So, and I, of course, I look back at the old MySpace and the way you could build stuff, and so many people, like I saw this thing today, like, this dude literally was like, how maybe I'm stupid, but how could y'all burn CDs? Like, how did you just go buy a blank CD and put music on it?
It's crazy.
And underneath it, this guy was like, oh my God, we're officially in an age where people don't know how to burn CDs. Mm-hmm. Fuck, I'm old.
Literally, dude, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I used to do that. I used to burn CDs, and I'm not even that old, dog. Like,
we burned our second release ourselves for the initial testing run. That was in 2012.
Dude, my homie Jake.
It was 9 years ago.
You've met my homie Jake.
Yeah. Jake Eisenhower. For his first album release that he did, rapping in high school, we sat there for a week. We ordered CDs on Amazon and cool looking CDs, and fucking ordered CD covers and shit, and sat there for like a week burning CDs and putting them into fucking things like we were in a factory.
Yep.
And it was wild.
And the fact that that's like it was 9 years ago, and people don't know it exists. Zune. That's my favorite fucking part of the...
Some fucking kid stole my Zune when I some fucking kid I had over at my house stole my Zune when I was a kid. And I had a Zune with the big wave engraved on the back. It was so sick. I miss it.
It's things like that. Like, people don't remember or realize or recognize that this stuff is not ancient history.
No.
The industry changes so quickly. Technology changes so quickly. Things that were cutting edge a decade ago are obsolete now. Mm-hmm. It blows my mind. Like, even me, I was sitting there, I'm laughing because I was talking to Mooch, and he still uses vinyl. He's like, what's your collection? I was like, my collection's at my dad's house. I don't even use decks. I use my Pioneers. Mm-hmm. I use my CDJs, and I don't use CDs in them. Mm-hmm. And I got asked by somebody recently, why are they called CDJs? And I there was a physical noise in my brain.
Yeah, it's like,
you see this slot right here? It's where the CD
for
goes.
A CD. I was 14 years old, and I had just finished my fucking first EDM EP ever that I had ever made. And I went into a Guitar Center. I went on vacation with my family to California, and I went to a fucking Guitar Center, and I had burned like a bunch of these CDs, and I handed them out all over California just because I was
mixtape. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and fucking I went into a Guitar Center, and I put in the 2 CDs, and that was the first time I ever fucked with CDJs ever, and I started DJing on them, and the DJ under the name, I think, God, who was it? It was so they're big now, and I cannot remember their fucking name. God damn it! I don't know why I can't remember it.
That
right
happens
now.
to me all the time. But I'm old.
He worked at that Guitar Center, and I remember he came up to me and he was like, "Your shit slaps," and I gave him one of my
there
CDs.
You go.
And I don't know if he probably doesn't have it anymore.
No.
But God, who was it? God, I'll remember it probably like in 2 hours.
Yeah, tomorrow you'll call me
and we'll put it in the description. We'll put it in the description of the video.
This is who he meant.
But yeah, dude, it was cool. But it's crazy to me that just that long ago, literally 9 years ago, just like you were saying, people in that amount of time don't. It's like, how do you not know what burning a CD is?
Yeah, they don't. And because things change so much, I got made fun of kind of for the amount of time I spend making my set lists and doing this stuff. And like, well, why do you do this? Why do you do that? That's an old track. It's 2 years old.
Yeah.
It's an old track. It's tired.
Well, that's the thing.
If it fits in the set, that's what I want. I want to feel the set.
Yeah, everyone says like, oh, like you can't play that. That's a washed DJ set, whatever. I think that I don't know. You could play a set with only 2-year-old songs and it not be a washed set. Like I don't believe in that concept.
Yeah.
I think that anything that you're vibing with or that the people in the room are, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, dude, most of the music that I listen to nowadays is deathcore released from 2004 to 2012. Like that's
look at the mashups I was throwing together a couple years ago and last year. So it's demonic in nature. It's just cursed mashups. But
you remember,
it's fun as fuck. Like,
well, you remember I used to do like fucking the Killers and shit.
Yeah.
Like
let's lead
Panic
them
at
into
the
this.
Disco.
Yeah, let's lead them into this using this fucking weird build-up that's in a rock song, and then we're gonna take them somewhere, and they're not gonna see it coming. Like that's the fun part of DJing.
Yeah, you know,
is the impression of it, and yet you have people telling you, "Oh, that's an old song. That's stupid. It's so fucking tired." Like I can't handle that. I can't handle the fact that people just Facebook is social media for old people.
Oh my god.
I hear that a lot.
Dude, I didn't even have Facebook at all until 2017. Never.
I remember.
I made my Facebook solely for the reason of I couldn't get the insights for Instagram without linking it to a Facebook page. And so I was like, they sucked me in. Fuck it. And so I made one. And then I just started getting friend requests from people, and now here I am.
People give me shit all the time because I don't use Facebook anymore except for my business stuff.
Yeah.
I don't use it. And that's on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I don't want to. It's not for me. It stopped being fun. It stopped being like something where I'm spending time with people a long time ago for me. Mm-hmm. I just don't fucking care. I don't give a shit about... I've never been one of those people like, I'm going to tweet what I'm having for lunch. I'm going to tweet... I do share sometimes, like when I cook.
Yeah.
Like, you want to get to know me, follow my Snapchat, because it's stupid shit. And
you know, I don't know why, but recently my Snapchat has, like, I switched my Snapchat to a public profile, and, like, people subscribe to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting mad subscribers on my Snapchat, and I don't know why. I, like, post a fucking video, and it'll get, like, 5,000 views in, like, a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why, and it's stupid shit. It's dumb shit.
Well, it's supposed to be stupid shit and dumb shit, because that's who we are. We're fucking children. We're musicians, we never grew up. That's the point. That's the whole fucking point, is that we chose a profession that allowed us to be fucking kids forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. The number of people that I know that have genuine talent, that nobody has ever given credence to.
Well, dude, the one person that comes to mind when you say that is Ian.
Yeah, that guy's fucking stupid talented.
Ian is like such a creative person. He's crazy talented, but he doesn't even, I feel like, know it as much as he should. You know?
I think Ian gets really scared.
I think he does too.
I think Ian gets really...
I think he underestimates himself. Everybody
underestimates themselves.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people underestimate Ian.
Yeah.
Because he does self-deprecate so effectively. It's always so comedic and fun that they're like, oh, he just doesn't take him so seriously. Like, yeah, he kind of does, and he's really good at it.
As a stand-up comedian would be fucking great.
Especially just an improv guy that you just like make him a heckler, then take him on stage.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah, make him heckle somebody and then put him on stage and watch him just school the dude.
Yeah,
that's what I'd like to see. I don't know. There's just so many people that they have a genuine talent and people overlook it or don't take it seriously. And there's nothing sadder to me than watching someone genuinely talented and watching their friends go, yeah, but what? Or not know. That's even worse is when your friends, the people you don't know, are like, yeah, cool. This is my friend who's a photographer. Well, show me his stuff.
Yeah.
He makes these great music videos. Really? Can you show me one? No. If you can't help, if you can't support, if you don't know, it's cool that you're like, I know my friend does this, or I know my brother does this, but like, that's not support. Knowing it, knowledge of an act doesn't make you help them in that.
Of that.
And it breaks my heart sometimes watching the number of people. And I think a large part of that is due to this concept that social media dictates what is popular.
Yeah,
what is trending. That
your social media followers or your traction on the internet directly affects your like success or your talent.
Yeah, I have people all the time. They're like, "Why don't you look 1 million followers?" I'm like, "I don't."
Like,
know.
why aren't you sharing my posts? Why aren't you fucking? Like literally, it's like fucking.
Dude, I get the weirdest fucking artistic boner when I see somebody use a photo of mine as like a profile picture or something, or something gets shared, or like I see some reference to something I did. Like I just recently got to do a whole issue of Expressions magazine. They did an Expressions exclusive, and it's something that I've never thought anybody would ever take me seriously enough. Yeah. And it was Halloween. She's like, just go nuts.
Yeah.
Go nuts. Do what you do. And I was like, seriously? Like, yeah, do what you do. I did. And I did it with my friends here. I could have gone and hit up Fallon Vendetta and Francesca Destruct and Audrey Kelly. I did actually hit up Audrey, but we couldn't make it happen. But
Has she ever been on? She's never been on the podcast?
Not this one.
Yeah.
Nope, needs to happen. But we talk. We do all these things, and the fact that I got that out, and people were like, they were excited, but they were like, the one that got me is Jasmine, because Jasmine's always she's the fun party girl, right? She's the girl that drinks beer and chugs this and drinks tequila shots and dances and always does goofy shit, and like, right? Yeah, that's her. We did the scariest fucking shit ever, and people went, that's not her. Yes, it fucking is. She really is that fucking talented. She really can act. She can really play the part. There's a whole series, 2 series that didn't even show up in that book that I can't wait to release separately, because everybody who helped me with that came to play because they respected me and my art and themselves, and that's what makes this fun. That's what makes this rewarding, and it's being cheapened by likes and follows and like, oh, you don't have a lot of followers, like. And then the other side of it, like, I get excited every few days because I'm finally cracking. It's taken me 3 years to go from 1,700 to 1,800 followers on Instagram. 3 fucking years. Yeah. And I keep cracking 1,800, and then the next day it drops by like 12, and I'm at like 1,784. Yeah.
Which I don't understand how things like that happen. Like, why the fuck is a wave of 15 people unfollowing? I don't understand. I say something
like, it's obviously bots. No, I pretty much know everybody who follows me, or like I check most of the accounts.
Every fucking bot I see that follows, and like I don't get enough followers, new followers, for me to be like, oh, I'm getting so many, I missed the bots. You know what I mean? Like fucking, I'm like, bro, if I see a bot, I know it's a bot, and because it says user 8547196, like fucking all this fucking stupid, and so it's
when it's obviously a fake name, or and I mean sometimes it's fun to fuck with the bots and things like that too when they like a Snapchat,
like that Snapchat bot that hit me up
yesterday. Like straightforward. I
was just like, who is this person and why are they fucking sending me like videos after videos after videos after videos?
Yeah, and I told you, porn bot. You went,
I was like, porn bot. Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to open them. Fucking.
That's what's fun about it is that sometimes you can fuck with them, sometimes you can play with it, but what it boils down to is we get so like social media analysis is the most ego breaking thing I've ever done.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate it, and I'm much better at promoting for other people or expressing for other people what they're doing, because it's easier for me to be excited about what other people are doing. When I'm doing my own, I really just kind of lose my mind.
Yeah,
and it drives me nuts. And I think that unfortunately that's where, and not to decry, there are some really talented people who've hit 8, 9, 10 million followers on TikTok or Instagram that a year or two ago they didn't exist online. I'm proud of those people. I'm happy for those people.
Oh, yeah.
Good for them. Regardless of what made them famous or what made them successful,
Well, yeah, it's like
they did it, and they're putting in work.
You know the memes of that guy, the fucking, he's like it's like the simple solutions dude. He fucking, his whole story is cool. He was like, it was something like he was really poor or something like that, and then he became like TikTok famous, and now is just like really well off. His whole family's really well off, and it's just literally off of making memes on TikTok. And now he has like fucking something like 16 million followers or something like that. And like and it's, I don't know, I don't care. Yeah, like you said, I don't care what you got famous for. You know, like if you're doing your thing and people are liking it and you're making a living doing your fucking thing and you don't gotta go work a 9 to 5 or and your family's good, who can talk shit about that? You know.
And yet people are going to.
And
they're going to troll.
People are going to find
a
way to
but
talk shit
no,
about
but that's the
anything,
thing is that when you put I don't ever want to downplay those people who are successful at it, but we put so much stock in it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that it shouldn't be like ignored if it's something you do have, but it shouldn't be something you should be judged by if you don't have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know some really, really talented artists, and they're like, yeah, I didn't want TikTok for forever. It wasn't until they changed it up and basically made it so, because one of the things TikTok kind of snuck people into is you kind of have to take a selfie, and I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't fucking do that.
You have to? What do you mean you have to?
There for a while there, they were making it so that for security things and stuff, occasionally if you hadn't posted a picture of yourself or anything, they would make it so that you had to take a picture and send it in, and then it adds facial recognition and all that crap. I don't do that. I don't play that game. It's not because I'm paranoid. It's not because I think it's trying to steal my soul. I just don't fucking do it. Yeah. I never have. I don't use emojis.
You cover your face at every single one.
I cover my face. I don't fucking. I love the anonymity. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I get off on it. I do. Yeah. I love that people will talk about me to me, not knowing.
You drum with your back to the crowd.
Yeah. Well, that's a stage fright thing, because it's not fun to vomit blood on people. Okay, it's cool. It's just unsanitary.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you're like people like Guar are shooting fucking fake cum all over everyone off of a giant dick. So there's a market for it.
There's a market for it, but I mean that's the thing is I just don't do that. So I didn't want a TikTok for her. And some of the TikToks I make are like really fucking like they just blow up, and I'm like, shit, that was awesome. Some of the ones that I really like, I spend time on, I curate, I edit. TikTok is like, that's sexual in nature. The fuck it is. Like, I see people naked or promoting porn on here, and you're taking my shit down. Yeah. Others, I'm like, oh my god, this is so great, and I feel really good about it, and I show like 3 or 4 people like, dude, that's so cool. Nobody sees it.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, nobody sees it. And I don't get that. Same with Instagram. Like, I do love the new collaborator feature. Mm-hmm. That's cool as fuck. Because getting to see what the models I work with, especially watching what they like, the images they like, and the fact we go back and forth, that's been really fun, because it really does remind me that it was a collaborative thing. Yeah. And that's enjoyable. Mm-hmm. My Facebook is, I mean, all the different accounts and things like that. I mean, the clothing line gets a lot of traffic. Mm-hmm. But most people go there and then go to the website. Yeah. They don't even stay on Facebook. They go to the website and they look around at the prints and the clothes and the harnesses and shit.
But I mean, like, fucking, all in all, that's like the goal.
That's exactly it.
You'd rather have them go straight to the fucking website and buy something versus stay on the Facebook and scroll that and then not go to the website.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, so like, that's my most active page right now. Mm-hmm. And then the ones that have the most followers and likes, like, they're almost completely inactive no matter what I do. Yeah. 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers, make a post every couple of days, do whatever, it doesn't matter. But the groups that I'm in, those are active. Yeah, people will talk. It's so subjective and weird, and so it feels like high school cliquey in some ways. Oh yeah. Every single system, every single process has its own purpose, has its own place. How you do it, I'm scheduled on how I do it and how I promote and how I do that stuff. But it really just boils down to art is only as good as the people who perceive it, and if there's not people seeing it, there's no perception of it. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it's not good. Yeah. And that sucks. That sucks to say, but I think a lot of people are facing that. I think that like you get on like EDM Twitter, or you get on fucking horror talk, where you get there are so many different little cliques and and niches and things that people find, and then they do really well in those areas.
Yeah.
Nowhere else.
Uh-huh.
And I think that there's a lot of limitation there.
I feel that.
I don't know. We're so compartmentalized, and we're more distant now than we were 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The world climate changed enough that we're so distant. And we're so.
Well, and it's also like people are obviously way more divided now, and not even on like in the U.S. Not like people.
Oh, dude,
people were
so
originally we were being divided mainly by the president, politics, that whole thing. Now, COVID put a whole another thing there.
Yeah.
Where now people that even had the same political preferences don't agree on vaccinations, and so they're split even further into smaller, and if someone nowadays, it's weird, and this part's kind of fucking weird to me, if someone has a political opinion that another person doesn't like, that person will then say like their art is shit or something because of that political opinion, which I'm like, I don't. And and people I remember were like mad back in the day when Young Thug wouldn't talk about politics. They asked him who he voted for on an interview, and they asked him like, "What's your political opinions?" And he was like, "I'm not going to talk about that." He's like, because that's not what he's there to do.
Yeah.
He's not there to be. And also, that was a very smart move because he probably realizes he's like, I'm not going to fucking eliminate half my fan base because essentially, if he would have gone up there and said that he was either for or against Trump. Either one of those options cuts away a huge part of your fan base.
It does, and unfortunately, that's the way the system works.
Yeah, and it's a
your opinions
reality.
And sometimes I hate cancel culture. I do, but I mean there is a place for it in some ways.
I mean, I think that there's definitely I don't know. I think there's definitely. I think it's good that there's people that we're not necessarily putting up with some shitty things that people used to do.
Right.
That we're actually saying like, hey, this isn't okay anymore. We should grow past this, and this isn't all right anymore. But like, I agree with how the Dr. Seuss stuff went about it. Because they were like, we're not going to get rid of these books. We're not going to change these books. We're just because if you get rid of them, that dismisses that gets rid of the importance of why that's not okay. You know what I mean? And so like they're like, if we just like dismiss this, act like it never happened, that's just as bad as saying it in the first place. You know what I mean? And that's you're
not correcting a wrong. You're ignoring
it, and you're essentially just like dismissing the people who are saying, I'm offended by this.
Which is the problem with history in the United States. History is written to make people believe that
history is written by the
victors.
It's written
by the victors,
and so
but, I mean, there's so much false history out there that people still believe that Thanksgiving is about the Pilgrims.
There's a fucking text. There's a textbook where a fucking Egyptian pharaoh is white. He's blonde, has blue eyes.
What the fuck?
And it's like,
well, and that's the thing is that you look at how things are taught and how things are brought forward, and I don't agree with a lot of we're just gonna cancel it. We're gonna just
no. See, then that's what I'm saying, because canceling it and acting like it never fucking happened is the same. That's not the same. It's just as bad as doing it in the first place because you're not acknowledging the problem.
I am one of those people that if you see something wrong or and you allow it to happen, you are just as culpable and responsible. You're enabling that wrongdoing to continue. You are at fault. Exactly. You are at fault. You are part of it. And I also tell people, if you're gonna and because of my very unique position where I talk to literally hundreds of people a week, I hear a lot of bitching. Mm-hmm. Probably a solid 80% of what I deal with is people venting and complaining, and I don't mind that. Mm-hmm. I will always be that open ear, but there's about 10 to 15% of that where they're not going to do shit about it. Yeah, they just want to bitch. They just want to complain, and it's the same complaint, the same bitch over and over and over again.
Me and AJ fucking we got dinner at Rock Slide last night before the show, and we were kind of talking about that same thing. He was like, and we were just like, you can't just like bitch and not do anything.
Yeah, if you don't say something other than just complaining about it, if you don't step up and try and actively get involved to change something, shut the fuck up. At least to me.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear the same gripe, the same bitch, the same problem every other week for a year solid, and you do nothing to change.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the definition of insanity: is doing the same thing and expecting a different result.
And that's the thing is, and the other thing, like I think I've talked about ask holes. Like the number of people like, what do you think I should do? Okay, you're actually asking my opinion. Yeah, I really need it. It's really valuable. Okay, you understand that if you ask my opinion, I'm going to tell you the truth, even if you don't like it. Yeah, that's what you need. Tell them the truth. It hurts, and they don't like it, and they do something different, and then the result that I told them was going to happen if they continue doing it happens, and they're mad at me. Why didn't you stop me? Bitch, I can barely walk. I can barely walk. Don't make me chase you.
And you're a goddamn adult. It ain't my fucking.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to fucking.
You asked me my opinion. I gave it to you. You didn't like what I had to say. You went and did your own shit.
You fucked it up.
Hey, stop me from doing the thing.
That's the other thing. I ain't gonna stop no grown adult from doing. You know.
Yeah.
It is like I have no business going and trying to clean up messes of any grown adult. You know? Like fucking.
Exactly. Like we have our own bullshit. We have our own
messes
problems
to clean up.
Well, and too often we neglect the people who really are there and take that for granted. I've done that myself.
Yeah,
I've had to reiterate because I'll say, God, nobody's fucking this, nobody's fucking that. I don't mean nobody. If I'm talking to you about it, you're not included in nobody. You are an exception to the rule. And it's one of those understood you moments that people miss that, and they're like, God, I feel like shit. I feel like I don't help you. It's like, I'm not talking about you. If I was talking about you, I wouldn't be talking to you about everybody else.
I would be saying, or it wouldn't be this type of conversation.
It'd be I really need
you. It'd be a
quit fucking up and stand up for that kind of shit. And I think that because we spend so much time, the number of my friends that have failed relationships that started on Snapchat or dating apps or that are shocked by that. When 90% of your communication is in text form, you're gonna fuck up.
I've never had a dating app ever in my life.
Me neither.
I've never had a Tinder, nothing.
Well, the whole reason I don't do that is because they make you put your own picture up if it's gonna be real. Now, I don't know if you knew, Kedrick set up a Tinder for his turtle.
Well, that's fucking amazing.
It was fantastic. He actually made a lot of really good friends that way.
It's like that fucking. It's like
Ian made one of those
for the Ian's for the Alfredo.
Yeah, he was spaghetti.
He
was spaghetti.
I thought it was chicken Alfredo.
Oh, it was chicken Alfredo.
Yeah, I thought it was a chicken Alfredo, and he was just, and it was literally just like, oh god, I had the best bio. It was like something about fucking creamy noodles in your mouth.
I will forever.
It's something that Ian would write.
Yeah, no, I mean it's so gross and so if you
great.
take it, but it's so good. That's the kind of stuff like that's fun. I get that. That's cool.
Ian has literally the fucking coolest Instagram name ever, and it's fuckboy howdy, and it's literally I don't know why I just love it.
I grin every time I see it.
So good. It's so good.
And when he posts, you know, it's when there's a story.
You know it's gonna be
good, and it's usually gonna make fun of Skylar. It's usually gonna make fun of Skylar, and it's gonna be good, or it's gonna be something about Gary. And any way you look at it, it's gonna be enjoyable every time. Every time, no matter what. Yeah, there are just some people you just enjoy subscribing to, even though they're our friends day to day. In many ways, Ian might be like the Andy Kaufman of our group. He might be so far ahead of us that we just don't see it.
Yeah,
but I hope so.
I hope so.
Because he's fucking great.
The future is Ian.
Yeah.
Cool. That's gonna be my band name.
The future is Ian. There you go. That's a good one.
That actually is a good one.
That is a really good one.
God, I fucking sometime me and Sky need to come on the podcast and just list off our band name list in chronological order.
I agree.
Because they just get more and more fucked up as we go.
They really do.
Fisted Sister is my favorite, I think. Fisted Sister.
Well, the thing that gets me is when you came up with that, it was kind of like a jab and like, oh, that's so gross. Now because stepsister and stepbrother porn is so like popular, like that's more just like just a popular leeway. Like it's probably trending right now.
I'm still bitter that because when we were coming up with the name for Cybergoth, we were gonna do Girl Talk as our band name, and it was taken by like a pop punk band, I think. And it actually like established, so we couldn't like just do it. So that was.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Fucking. Hey, you should have AJ on for one of these. I think he'd be a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I want to get. I want to want to get Il Gates. I want to get
Il Gates would be super cool.
Sawin. I want to get Sam. He's amazing.
Il Gates is extremely
talented. Dylan's great, I love the way he talks, the way he teaches. Want to get him on. Francesca Destruct, because what she's done with Fate Destroyed is nothing. The fact that she's a fucking car girl who's also like a model and actress, and she fucking throws down as hard as she does. Yeah, I'm proud of my friend. Mm-hmm. I'd love to get Mixie and Merritt on at the same time if I could. That'd be fantastic. I want to get Decker on just because I just want to get me and Decker just making fun of each other for an hour.
Who I met a show a couple weeks ago it was more than a couple weeks ago. It was a while back, but who was really a cool fucking dude. He's the singer of In the Whale.
In the Whale is amazing.
Eric and them, dude. I hadn't seen them until that show, and it was an amazing fucking show, dude.
Yeah, I used to sit and bullshit with them on Facebook. And those guys are great.
I went and saw Every Time I Die, and they had 68 opening for him. He's the old singer of Norma Jean.
Yeah,
and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that was just a little 2-piece band, and they shred, bro.
Yeah.
They were good.
No, really I love good. Shit like that.
Varial's got a new vocalist who is pretty good too. I liked their new. He sounds similar to the old guy. But
we were talking earlier about Lorna Shore and Will and everything like that. And I actually, when the day the track came out, it didn't get a lot of play. Mm-hmm. But because like I say, Swinging Nooses worked with them. I've worked with them. Like I've followed Lorna Shore and watched them just blow my mind from the get. And I was talking to my friend Travis.
Because they've had 2 vocalists, right? It's just been CJ and now Will.
And this is their second album. Mm-hmm. Like really, it's their in my mind their first album because they toured off that album, but Will was covering CJ was already gone. So I put on Twitter, I was like, look, and I mean this in the best possible way, but with Lorna Shore, new singer, doesn't it pretty much confirm the existence of Man Bear Pig? And that tweet got a shit ton of views. Like hundreds of views. Yeah. And I was like, that's awesome. Got 1 like from Lorna Shore. No, it was Lorna Shore. Oh, okay. their Twitter account, like, I was like, that's so awesome that no one else clicked like on that. I mean, because a ton of people saw it.
That man, his vocals are
he's a fucking
even CJ, all controversy aside, his vocals were fucking nuts.
Well, and
I don't know what my whole take on that thing is, because to me, there's way too. It's just I don't know. It's way too hairy for me to like put an actual fucking to have a real educated opinion on because it just sounds like so much personal drama between people that it's like I don't know.
Here's my take on most of these situations like that. I do not give a fuck as to what a person's personal business or situation is as it applies to their art. I hate R. Kelly. I hate his existence. I hate that he's on this planet and he's hurt so many people. I do. Doesn't change the fact that he's put out some fucking fire music.
Feel that.
I never victim blame. Never. I almost always, unless there is something just glaringly off in the whole thing, I will always believe the victim. Mm-hmm. And kind of have to be brought back. I mean, you got to be very convincing for me not.
Like that whole thing, it wasn't even like a C.J. McCreery raped me. That's not what it was. No, it was like a fucking. It was like she said that he was emotionally abusive, I think, and she said that he was like, that he led her on and stuff, but then he made that big old video, and then, like, the screenshots that he posted from that were just, the whole thing's just weird.
Yeah, it's like he overreacted to something that wasn't there yet, trying to get ahead of it and made it look way worse.
Well, because he made that video, I think, after he had already separated from the band and stuff, so I don't even know.
No, I support their decision.
Well, you can't
remove the controversy.
Yeah, well, because as a band, you can't. Yeah,
they made the right decision. I completely support it.
It's the same thing as I think I think that A Day to Remember made the right decision cutting their bassist. Because they were going on tour with Lorna Shore and Bring the Horizon on that European tour. And then people were like, y'all never addressed this thing with your bassist. Like, it happened a fucking while ago, and they just, like, kept releasing...
I know one of the people directly involved.
Yeah, and that whole thing is fucked up, and, like, I definitely think they made the right call there, and I'm not even gonna comment on, like, the whole situation, you know, because...
No, I mean, because it's all too common. I mean, I'm watching what's going on with the Cuomos, and the fact that CNN fired Chris Cuomo today for his involvement. I believe that is the right take. If you believe that there is a wrongdoing, deal with it.
Yeah.
There's a chance for... And yes, the media will murder you.
Yeah.
The media will murder you before truth will.
Yeah.
But truth will out. In 99% of these... If there is any sense of, you know what, maybe this didn't actually happen, it will eventually come out.
Yeah.
The problem is, it almost never does. It's almost always exactly what you think.
Yeah, it's almost always fucking...
It's almost exactly
and
what you
let's
think
be
it is.
real,
And that sucks.
the metal scene has had a lot of fucking toxicity and really bad shit happen over the fucking years.
Kind of based in toxicity. That kind of sucks. That was part of it.
It does suck. But
EDM has turned into that, and there's too many...
With the whole
hip-hop.
fucking Datsik thing but a couple years ago, and like, you know, and fucking...
so many others that have come since then.
I know, and then Bass Nectar, and then all the fucking other... and just like,
One and one, just constant. And then
Squanto, he didn't like fucking do any sexual things or anything like that, or assault anyone, but he fucking said a bunch of shitty shit, pissed a bunch of people off.
There's always going to be racism. There's always going to be sexism. There's always going to be misogyny. There's no room for that, and people just dismiss it. Like, when you see it, it has to be fought.
Yeah,
it should be battled, and that's kind of where I am in those things. And so when you look at, like I say, I will never support the wrongdoings of a person. But there are people in prison who draw some beautiful paintings. Who do some
fucking Akon wrote his first album in prison.
There you go. And it's like there's some really...
I'm correct about that, right? Wasn't it Akon? He went to prison?
So.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because that's what Akon means. A convict. Like, that's like a whole... Yeah, and then the convict in the beginning of the song.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. Is so many people dismiss because of somebody... And it happens in the workplace, too. I'm not saying just in art, but bad people can still do beautiful things.
Well,
you just can't excuse the bad things.
Take Johnny Craig, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking, the dude's a piece. But he was one of my favorite fucking vocalists growing up, you know? And for a lot of people. Even his girlfriend that he fucking abused and shit, and they made that whole video. She was like, I listened to him as a kid, and that's partially why I was so like starstruck by him and stuff. You know, you can someone can be a piece of garbage and still make beautiful art. Like,
and that's the thing is sometimes that, and that's kind of what gets me. Is there's something I catch a lot of hell because I don't play some artists that, but that seems like it's your. I have a personal connection to it. Yeah. Personal. Yeah. I'm not gonna fucking play that game. That's my choice. Yeah. Fuck you if you don't like it. That's my choice. Yeah. I'm sticking to it. Exactly. And that's how I feel like a lot of bands and a lot of artists and a lot of management. And there's always going to be diehard fans who defend people to fucking tooth and nail. I mean, you're always going to have your MGKs versus your fucking M&Ms. You're always going to have ICP sucks or ICP's great. And you're always going to have to deal with the different sides of things. Well, it's excusing the wrongdoings.
A sidebar on the ICP thing. Me and you talked about this before. Regardless of how you feel about ICP's music, because you know that I have never been like a fan of like I never listened to ICP, but they started like all of it, like most of this fucking shit that's going on in like the underground like hardcore rap scene. You know absolutely. What I mean? Like it fucking like ICP are like a huge trailblazers for that.
They laid the foundation and groundwork for literally 90% of what is going on in those genres right now.
Yeah, and so it goes back to what we were saying, where like you can't forget where you came from in music. You know, like, you can't like diss boom bap and think that you know it's that whole the same thing.
Yeah, well, and so when you have those goods, bads, and difference. Do not allow the wrongdoings to continue, but don't dismiss the good that came at the same time. And that's been my take on it. I look at Astroworld. Should we stop festivals? No. No. Should we be better at it?
The thing is you did that. Well, it's the like. I don't know. Yeah, you shouldn't stop festivals because that. You need to make the festivals better. You need to improve on what's happening instead of just quitting. You know, like that's not.
And that's that goes for so many things outside of just music and art. I mean, like 5 different things popped in my head that applies to that I kind of don't want to get into.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's too much talk without action, and oh fuck this person, or oh fuck that person, or oh this person's wonderful, or oh we need to, without any action behind it, and that's a victim of the time right now because we are so distant, we are so disconnected, and yet we are within inches of people around the world. It's a weird fucking time to be alive.
It is a fucking weird time to be alive. It really is.
So, well, we've rambled and we've talked. Now that you're back in the fold, so to speak.
Yeah.
Since I'm going to tie you up and leave you in my closet.
Yep.
So you can never escape again.
Nope.
No more gravel and paint for you, sir.
I'll have to fucking come back on every little while.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you've always been able to fucking.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw a couple of your tracks on this intro and outro. I'm not sure what order or how yet.
Yeah.
I usually ask somebody like, what are 2 tracks you listen to more than, but you listen to so much that can go for fucking ever.
So much.
That could be such a problem. So I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
But hopefully at one of these times you're the guy behind the cameras and interviewing someone else, so I don't have to do this all the time. Because I don't know about you, but I hate my voice and would rather not listen to myself very often. And editing these makes me cringe.
I hate my voice on recording.
I would much rather edit your voice interviewing somebody than mine. So
I feel that.
But
I'm super down, dude. I'm super down.
We're heading to the holidays. We're probably gonna do a mental health check here in the next couple weeks. If you're in there, if you're out there listening to this, or if you're watching this, or whatever format you're on, like I'm asking everybody. Like everyone's like, you can post suicide hotlines. You can do, and I do that. I do. The biggest thing you can do for anybody right now is check on your friends, check on your family, reach out, even if it's simple. Hey, just thinking about you. Do that, and make sure somebody's out there doing that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is the moment time of year on the planet.
I recently started therapy, and it's like the fucking best thing I've ever done for myself.
Right?
Yeah.
I always tell people, go just dog therapy and dog psychiatry or psychotherapy or any kind of... You know what? Having somebody outside your life to talk to and feel things out with, it's invaluable.
Oh, it's... Yeah.
It's better than fucking Forrest Gump on a fucking bench telling everybody his life fucking story. Do that. If you have somebody to talk to that you don't know, or somebody's reaching out and offering...
Take that.
Consider it.
Yeah.
Consider it. Because if there are going to be those random moments where you just feel alone as fuck, and nobody should feel alone. No. There's no excuse for feeling alone when we have so much communication on this point.
Yeah.
So.
For real.
But with that, let's sign off.
Hell yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah. You'll be back.
I'll be back soon.
Hopefully more caffeinated, not so forced.
Yeah.
But
and
we'll
fucking peep my 2 tracks, beginning and the end of this.
Well, hopefully, the next time you're under your new name.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be the goal.
That would be the goal. Hopefully it's going to be here soon. So
if I do this before New Year's, I'm going to punch you in the dick.
God, I don't know what I'm going to fucking do on New Year's.
You got to
figure it out.
You have like 26, 27 days to figure it out.
That one might be under Joben too, just to make it fucking easy.
So you made yourself a liar, sir.
I did make myself. I'm a liar. I said probably. Probably more than like that. It'll probably be my last one.
Yeah, well.
So this one will also probably be.
Fair enough. All right, man.
Well, thank you for having me, dude.
Absolutely. We'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.
Peace.
Later.